I was muted. This stream is off to a really weird start. I'm so sorry. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Darren After the Credits. Sorry we're late. Couple minutes off. Party Nation said that they're going to stream right now. And I was like, well, I guess we're going to have to push it back 30 minutes and a bunch of stuff on our side as well. But we are here, man, for another crazy week. We have 3 shows on again this week, which is always a lot of fun when we can have multiple shows to talk about. Darth, how are you doing today? How are you this week?
I'm doing good. Thank you. How are you doing?
I am good. I'm honestly really excited to stream today. It's been I don't know how the weather is for like you guys. It's been really cold. Like it's been like -4 all week this week. It's been freezing. I've been working outside all week, so I'm excited to kind of sit back and talk about some shit because we've had some fun episodes to come out this week. So obviously this week we have some fun Reacher to talk about, the penultimate episode of Reacher. We had another really, really good episode of Percy Jackson, and obviously the main topic today is also Echo, the Marvel Studios' newest film, the 10th TV show, I think, the 10th like Disney Plus TV show that had come out under this banner. It's either 10 or 11 if you count I Am Groot.
Yes, special presentation.
You also have those. That is very, very true. So yeah, I'm very excited to talk about all this stuff today. Some fun stuff in store for sure. We got some people in the comments. DH1 is in the house. Hope you are doing well. We have a good friend, Noah Irwin. Noah, how's it going, buddy? Hope you are doing well. Hope everything's good with you. Alrighty, I think we're just going to jump into our episode today. We have a lot of fun things to talk about. First of which is being Mr. Percy Jackson, Season 1, Episode 5 of Percy Jackson. We are officially over halfway through the season. After this one, we have 3 weeks left. We have 3 episodes left of Percy Jackson. And that's one of my least favorite things about these like Disney Plus shows, is that they're so gosh darn short. As soon as they start, they're about to end. And I'm sad. Yeah. Once I get into like a flow of like, all right, every Tuesday we get Percy Jackson, we got like 2 left, and I was like, gosh damn it. So episode 5 of Percy Jackson, how are you kind of feeling on just this episode and kind of like where we're taking the show again over halfway through the season?
Love this episode. Really, really loved it. It kind of had like the tense kind of character moments that we got in episode 3. 4 felt a bit more like not super actiony, but like that's where it was going towards. So this was more about their motivations and other people's motivations and like how they're crossing, and like the example like Percy's mother, her motivations for guiding him towards the future and what she wanted for him. So yeah, all really, 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 really good stuff. And again, the 3 main guys just keep crushing it every week. Yeah. Every week,
you can tell they're getting better as well.
Yes.
Like there's that scene inside of the like tunnel when like he's like about to spoilers. Like when he's about to like sacrifice himself, it's like holy shit, I'm gonna cry. This is really, really good. I couldn't believe it.
Yes, really, really, really. Interesting choice. Sorry to leave the eye the last thing to be covered, right? As opposed to the mouth, the thing that's in it going, "Oh, help me." It's just all you can see is one eye, and you can just see even the fear in it still. You know, like that was so cool.
Yeah. No, I love that entire sequence. I've talked about almost every week where I've said like, I think the show is going to like consistently get better as the show goes on, and I think not even just season by season, but I think episode by episode, I have just enjoyed each episode more than the last. I think episode 5 was ultimately my favorite episode of the show. It feels like they're just understanding the kind of show they are each and every episode. Yeah. It doesn't feel like a lot of these like Disney Plus shows where they're made to be like movies. It feels like they made the show as a show, and as they kept making more episodes, they got better and better and better, which I think is really cool. I feel like they're finally understanding the show as like a unit. like the way it's paced, the way its characters are with each other. The like filmmakers and the writers as they're making show, it just feels like they're understanding this world better. And I don't know, I just thought like this episode in particular was a lot of fun, getting to see these different functions at play. It did feel like you're like network TV, where like you have an A plot and then you have a B plot. The A plot obviously being Percy and Annabeth, and then the B plot being the Grover stuff, and
Yeah.
seeing how they kind of both like sect at the end of the episode. We got Ares this week, which I really liked Ares. I thought this was a really, really good casting. What was your thoughts on the whole Ares stuff?
Loved Ares, and just quickly on what you're talking about, like it really draws a great parallel for how they would genuinely be on the adventure as well.
Yeah,
with their chemistry and just better adapting to the world, especially because they've all had like either the camp or parent supervision. Like Annabeth was found out in the street after rejection from her dad. Obviously, as we know, we don't know how Satyrs families work. But this is their first foray into it and stuff. So, and then Percy without his mum. So, yeah, I love that parallel. They are just doing so well. And then Ares, oh my God, the Edge, that casting, like I'm sitting there looking at that face, like I know that face. Like where have I seen that? Where have I seen that acting before? Like he does such a good job that there wasn't at any point that I was like, oh, this is so cheesy. This is hammy. Like some guy got given quote unquote God of War and then just kind of went, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to go for. You know what I mean? Like that's like a little bit of what we got, but like it was not hammy in any way. I love the casting.
No.
Sorry.
No, I ended up really enjoying him. And I didn't know the actor like prior, but I looked into his stuff. I was like, oh, he was on Flash in the second season. Holy shit. I was like, that's the second Flash actor we've had on this show.
That was a bomb. That was a bomb for me as well, because I was like doing the same thing. IMDb just scrolling, and there he is, Atom Smasher. What?
Yeah.
No way.
And obviously, like he's been in like your like wrestling stuff and a lot of these other things throughout the years and stuff like that. Which I think I saw Walking Dead maybe as well. Okay. Which
like maybe. He is a household name though for like people that even had a slight interest in wrestling as a kid. His name is one that permeates through the annals. Sure. Honestly, he's just as much like big as like The Rock, Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior. Like his name is up there. Love the guy. He's so cool.
100%. And I think he did a really good job here. Like it didn't feel like, I know like with a lot of these type of actors, it feels like, oh, they're in here because they're like a wrestler and they're popular. He just really fit into this part. And I think and I think he has this, I cannot tell you how much I love the joke of him being on Twitter, and like someone like the like God of War loving Twitter is so perfect.
Yes.
Like, that is such a good joke, because it is like, that is your modern day war. You can't go on Twitter without there being some sort of war or argument, or like, of course the God of War would love Twitter. That's amazing. I love it so much.
So, not a criticism, but something I kind of feel like I've noticed that is either they kind of go like, you could either say it's like two ways. Like one, they kind of go Superman and Lois, right? In that like 90% of the episode is like talking and character development, and they get that one scene that calls for action to be taken, you know?
Yeah.
I would say that's more accurate than they either choose a character story or a more action-y story, wouldn't you?
Sure. Yeah. I could definitely see that. And I honestly, and it kind of hit me this week, you know, just you talking about that, like it hit me this past week of why I think I'm enjoying Percy Jackson so much is Percy Jackson to me does not feel like a streaming show. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like Echo. It doesn't feel like your Loki or your Mandalorian. It feels like network TV to me. This feels like it would be something that would like air on like the like CW or ABC.
Yeah.
And it has that charm to it that I really, really like. It has that, I don't know, something about it. And I think that's been the thing that people haven't liked about the show. Like people saying, it looks kind of cheap, or, oh, it's very cheesy. But I don't know. I kind of think that's why I'm drawn to it a little bit, and why I'm enjoying this journey through it. I just miss this kind of TV, I guess. This kind of more back brings me back to like a simpler time.
Okay, that's cool. Like I genuinely like if they are doing this on a smaller budget, in my opinion, they are smashing it, because like there's
I think they're doing a good job. Yeah.
That I like if I felt it's out of place, or like, oh man, they're really working with corn syrup here and stuff. Like
Sure.
they've put like a very, very big and tremendous effort into it, and it definitely shows off. Especially even just down to the tunnel song. Like I can't let that go.
That was a really fun scene.
I'm sitting there like Sigmund Freud, waiting for the guy to get on the chair, like sitting there like as some analysis as to like what this is telling him at the world. Like he's trying to tell a story, but then that's what he's telling, and the way he's telling it is saying so much about himself as a character, which is fascinating to me, because like he omits so much just to make himself the victim, right? You got to remember, the whole reason they're there is because one of them has to go sit in that chair. That man is not a victim.
No.
A little bit of a kidnapper. He's kind of a kidnapper. Do you know what I mean? Sit in this chair, and then boom, you're stuck forever.
Yeah, and I like really like that scene where he sees them both come back. It was like, oh, you both came back and my shield. That's kind of impressive, guys. I don't know how you did that. So I thought that scene was really cool as well. And I mean, what an episode for Annabeth as well. Like she really shined this week. She was the MVP. And it showed how much of a strong character she is, where like Percy did this thing, he sacrificed himself, and we got to see kind of that follow-up from like episode 2, where it's like, I need someone that's willing to sacrifice me to get this job done. And she does do it, but ultimately she's like, all right, this is done, I got the shield, now it's time to get him back. I'm going to do whatever I can. Even if this thing isn't possible, I'm going to fix this up, I'm going to do this I can get this guy back. I can get Percy back, and we can do this mission. And I just think everything with those two this episode was such a highlight. And I think it proves how good these actors are. It proves this friendship that I already know is going to bloom into something really, really beautiful. And I also really enjoyed Grover this week with Ares and their back and forth, and him kind of getting into his head and be like, your sister she does this and this and this, and it sucks. She's like, you're right, it does suck. It gets on my nerve. Like, I thought all that was really fun.
Oh my god, Grover for Detective Pikachu 2. Come on. Just have him in the main role with a Sherlock Holmes hat on, I mean, come on, that'd be sick.
Yeah.
I love as well, so like Annabeth, right? Like she has her baggage, and her baggage is she was born through asexual means, in the same way that Hera gave birth to Hephaestus, right? So then she was a quote-unquote gift to her father, who then worshipped her as a child for a while, and then was like, well, I've got a new family, see you later. So she's on the streets and stuff. So then her mother, who gave her life and the promise of a wonderful life, it was her father who reneged on that, right? So like she's idolized her mother the whole time and worshipped her, and like respected her, keeps doing the stuff for glory to get in the good books and things like that. So this episode where she was like, I want none of that, I even want to take part in breaking the system like Percy wants, and I won't play your game. I'm going to stand here and play with the cogs until this kid's free. I'm not going to jump through your hoops. Like I thought that was a tremendous moment, and definitely showed a lot of growth.
100%. That whole scene of her standing up and being like, he wasn't like this, like you guys all are a certain way. He's not. I may have been at one point, but I no longer want to be. I thought like all of that was just so unbelievably good. And yeah, I think I'm going to be very curious kind of where we go from here. Because we only have 3 left. I do feel like we have a lot to get to still. I'm wondering kind of how we spend episode 6. Like I feel like I have a general idea how we spend 8, like the final episode, but I'm kind of curious how much ground we cover in episode 6 and episode 7 getting to that point. So I'm going to be I'm just excited to get the finish up this season and see where we go, because it's been good, man. I think, you know, I wasn't like blown away when the show first started or anything. I wasn't like in love with it as I have become, but I think as the show has gone on, as I have just become, I don't know, I just think it's been a really fun kind of journey with this show, and I'm already sad that we're kind of at that final couple bits. So
see that I do have to say I am nervous, right? So
I understand why. Yeah.
Episode 6, we're gonna have some kind of resolution with Ares. Maybe at the other end of the truck, which he could have found a better way to get him there, but whatever. Then we also have to have the navigation of the casino, which doesn't let you leave, to get to Hermes, who will get them there in the blink of an eye. But then we still have to have the confrontation with Hades, the confrontation with Luke,
yes,
the father chat, the mother like reunion.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Set up for season 2, or even just like something at the camp. There's a lot to get from. They've done really, 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 really well, and I would hate for them to just
Disney Plus it. Yeah.
The post, you know.
I mean, we literally saw with Echo this week of how some things can feel rushed and how things can feel out of balance.
I can't wait to disagree with you on that.
So, okay. I mean, I think Disney Plus just has a track history of doing that, where like you have a really solid first half, and then by episode, either 4 or 5 or 6 or something, you start to see like, we're skipping some things, or we didn't wrap things up as we should have. So I'm going to be very interested to see kind of where we go. And again, I really hope they wrap it up. I hope the last 3 episodes are all like an hour long. Like that'd be great. With just like 3 hours left. Hopefully wrap everything up.
But there is like a lot to do.
We do. We have a lot to do. I'm going to be curious.
I really, really hope that we get like a season 2. We get the mixer with the gods. I'm dying to see that. I really want to see Annabeth meet Athena as well.
Sure.
I think that'd be.
We haven't even seen like Lance Reddick yet as Zeus, and I'm so excited to see that. Like,
I would just take the whole hour of him being Zeus. Just monologuing would be cool.
I would love it. I would watch a whole episode of just, oh man, I'm so sad he's gone.
Yeah. And you're gonna believe it. Do you know what I mean? You're gonna see
he has that presence
on screen, and you're gonna go, dude, Zeus, that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's gonna be no doubt in your mind, because last time it was Sean Bean. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's cool, but when you see it, you're like, yeah, Sean Bean, innit? This is like the one role he has that I'm aware of that he hasn't died straight away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, good for you. Congratulations. I love Sean Bean, right? Really cool, but didn't believe it for a second. He just looked good in the armor. When that lands, I'm gonna love it.
I know. I can't wait. I want him to just appear now. Freaking have like 3 episodes of him, but I'm thinking probably episode 8 with him. Unfortunately,
million percent.
Yeah. Defunct in the house says, "Hey Darren, hey Darth. Hope you're both well. We are well. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any comments or questions, make sure to send them in. But yeah, do you have any kind of just like final things on this? Because we do have a lot to get through. We have 2 others to talk about. Do you have any kind of final things?
Just quickly, that one, it was directed and shot so well this week.
It was. It really was.
Really, really helped. Just feel the claustrophobic sense that they would have making that decision.
Yeah.
All of it. I loved it. I did wonder, like, during my stream, like, Ares and Zeus's motivations. Obviously, Zeus's motivations is the bolt, but according to Ares, both of them know that Percy isn't the lightning thief. So
yeah,
this is all just nonsense, especially since Zeus was the last one to have like whole kid drama. Do you know what I mean? With Thalia.
yeah.
So him pulling this nonsense or whatever because of Percy, how can you do that? You got no ground. And then I can't help but get like was it like weren't Julius Caesar? There was like a Roman Empire and a Greek Empire that had a emperor, excuse me, that had like a super overbearing mother, and then that would help him rule and stuff. I feel like this is the positive version of that, with Percy's mum setting him up for leadership in like the person that he is. Do you know what I mean? Because his dad gives him the gifts, the strength, the powers, and his mum gives him the humanity and the heart and the courage to be the leader. And Annabeth is automatically drawn in. Do you know what I mean? Grover, we don't know. That kid's been there as a job. So, like, becoming friends on the job, cool. But Annabeth weren't there to be friends or make friends. She was there to do a quest, and she was all about getting glory, right? She has very, very quickly shifted. And that's obviously because of who Percy is as a person,
Sure.
So, yeah. I can't. And then the way Gray was like, "Oh yeah, I know who the lightning thief is." Bang, and are you kidding me? Again. God damn you bastards!
They end the episode. They keep getting me with that, where it's like, "Gosh damn it, you end the episode." Come on, man. Which again, I think is a testament to how much I'm enjoying it. Like, if I'm upset by the end of the episode, I must like it. I must want to see more. So
yeah. And like I did, like obviously it's coming, like the end of this episode's coming, like when the truck's there, but like you're still waiting for it. And then the second he said that, like you knew it was coming, but you were hoping it weren't.
Sure.
But yeah. Other than that, I'm good. I love it. I just can't say enough good stuff about the show.
Hey Daniel, hope you're doing well. I hope you had fun on Party Nation without me. I didn't even get a darn invite.
He's a rock star. He had a whole thing, like basically
a whole
dedicated
thing
to him.
That is so funny to me. That since he's the only member, it's just him. Just him.
Love it.
Darren, what are you drinking? So I got some tea. I'm a pretty big tea drinker.
Oh really?
Some like chamomile tea.
Okay. So now this is the test, you see, because I'm a British person. So I'm not a tea drinker, but I'm a British person, so I still hold the card, right? Mm-hmm. So how do you make a cup of tea?
A teapot.
Well, no, there's a specific process in your mug, right? A step-by-step process that happens. How do you make a cup of tea in your mug?
I have a tea bag. I put my tea bag in. Mm-hmm. I put my water in my cup. I put some sugar in it. Stir it around. I don't do much with my tea. How do you do it? Or how do most people do it?
There's some people that put like the milk in with the tea bag. They're monsters. They're savages, right? Then there's some people that put the sugar in after the milk.
I do milk last.
Yeah, right. But then there's some, so basically there's some people that like tea bag, put the water in, and then I would put the sugar in the water to help it dissolve, right? And then the milk, right? Some people put the sugar in last, and then there's also some people that like don't take the tea bag out until the end, and then some people take it out before the milk.
Oh, I still have it in.
Exactly, that's how you should do it. Okay. But some people take it out before, and they don't even strain it.
Yeah, I mean, there's still like so much flavor in it. So much of it like in it. I just like let it sit while I drink it. Yeah,
that's a waste otherwise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but imagine there's like a whole thing to it. Yeah.
Sure. Crazy. Sure. Everyone does it differently. Noah says it was Julius Caesar who had the overbearing stepmother when he ruled Darth. Thank you for the input. Daniel said, "Well, if you wanted an invite, you should have become a member." Well, that's a very good point. Already we are moving on to our next show here. And we have Reacher season 2, episode 7, the penultimate episode. I just watched the episode. I was like, oh yeah, it's Monday. I have to watch it. So I put it on like an hour and a half ago, and it's like 2 hours by this point. So yeah, we spent last week kind of getting caught up on Reacher, and this week we kind of can, we're finally caught up live with everyone else. Just as it's about to go off the air, just as it's about to go.
Yeah.
How we kind of feeling now? We're at the very end of the season here. Now that it's very clear they are starting to wrap things up. We are at the end, especially how we end the episode. It's like, oh yeah, this feels like it's setting up for a final battle, like a final thing to kind of wrap everything up. But how are you kind of feeling with it?
I stand by what I said last week, and that this show works so much better as a binge because
sure.
I'm not gonna lie, it might be in like the fact that we had a lot to watch this week. But I too watched it today as well, right? So I put it up for 2 days. And then like I had to remind myself of some of the stuff that was happening. Like the guy in the hospital bed, I'm not gonna lie, I had to save myself going back 5 episodes and having a look or see who it was. I had to go back to the start recap and see him get hit by the car to remember that that's the guy who that was.
Sure.
I was so confused. Like I was like, who is that guy?
I'm so bad with shows. I was like, that's a character that I probably knew, but I just don't remember. Like that's probably someone important that I haven't processed.
Yeah. I do love that like Russo got justice in the other guy dying, the one I didn't know. I did feel that Neely got nerfed this week, and I didn't like that. Right, so
sure,
Neely is a goddamn badass. Okay, each and every week that she's in the show, she has just pulled off miracles. Right, whether it's in the technological field or just physically just kicking ass. Right, she's a great shot and she can kick ass. She nearly died this week, and then Reacher saved her, and I feel like that shouldn't have happened.
Sure,
it was one little chump, and I feel like because it was like the only fight of the episode, Reacher had to win it. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like just for story purposes, she lost the fight, and I don't like that. Just keep her talking to somebody instead. Like, why is she just got to lose the fight? It's so stupid.
I think the show, I've heard some people say, I don't even know how I feel. I think, scratch that. I've completely forgot what I was going to say. I like do really want to talk about that whole fight scene though. Like that is a good point. She probably could have taken them, but that was a really, really cool fight scene. I loved how Reacher stopped them by just unplugging the
yeah.
That was so funny.
Listen, don't get me wrong. It was a really, really good fight.
It was really fun. Yeah.
Based on everything else that's happened before, Neely would have won that. Do you know what I mean? I get everybody's like everybody loses eventually. Sure. Like everybody hits an age where they just start declining or whatever. But what has been shown to us is even though these guys are older, these are the top of their game.
Yeah.
All like top of their game guys. These are the 110. You know what I mean? Even now, they are in the top of their fields.
They're like the Avengers of this world. It is like it is a thing where I sometimes forget that Reacher doesn't have like superpowers. Like he does like there's often times where he's just Captain America. Like I could believe he could take on Thanos, or he could beat up Batman or something. He's so good. Like there's a reason people want him as like your Bruce Wayne, because he has that figure. He has that presence to him that just this O-ring shadow. Like he can't lose a fight. He's Reacher. He's fucking Reacher, man. Like oh my god.
What you don't know is season 3 is he's gonna do. Remember that first Action Comics Superman cover where he's lifting Mini? That's exactly what Reacher's gonna be doing in season 3. I promise you. He's gonna be lifting a Mini, and no one's gonna be surprised.
You're so right. Noah said, "Dude, Reacher has been absolutely insane this season. The bus station ambush fight was very Batman-like. It was. So much of Reacher does just feel like he's Batman. Like he has these like unbelievably insane fight scenes. And again, I understand why people want him as like the Bruce Wayne. Like I get it. Dye his hair. I could potentially see it."
This was a really good episode. If I'm honest, I was hoping, like obviously the Little Wing story and this story is going to come full circle, right?
Sure.
It's just how, and I've been waiting to see this guy rock up again, or the Colonel that was up for the promotion. And I feel like if that was going to happen, it would have happened this episode. So maybe not, because next episode we're going to have like that all-out brawl. But,
yes.
I
think it's going to be like a very like Marvel-esque kind of like ending to like a season where it's just like 50, like 45 like of it is going to be them fighting and like stopping Shane, right? So which I'm not complaining of. Like I think, I'll be honest, I kind of tune into the show for its fight scenes. I think that's the biggest pull for me. Like I think, and this is just me, like I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this, and maybe I'm off base. I think I think its pull for at least me are the fight scenes and just like Reacher as a character. I guess the characters as a whole, like in both season 1 and season 2, the storylines have never been what pulled me in. Like I think they're kind of just okay stories. Like it's fine, you know. Like that's not what Reacher is cool to me. It's Jack Reacher himself, and it's the characters, and it's his journey through all the stuff. Like I think both the mystery in season 1 and 2, they're like, yeah, it's a fine murder mystery that I could find in any book that I go to like the library and pick up. Like it's fine. Have you been like? Have you been into this story this season? Because I have, at least in my opinion, I do think it's a bit of a step down from the first season a little bit.
It's interesting, right? So the fight scenes, yes, one of the reasons I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
The second big reason that I watch it is because of like it's just so much fun to watch him take on bullies.
Oh,
he is a bully basher, right? So that's like my big draw to the show. That I'm not gonna lie, the fight scenes, especially in season 1, started off phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then as the season progressed, they just got less and less.
Budget probably, yeah.
And the fight scenes have been very consistent this season, I think. I did feel like with the RV kind of like the drug bust, I did tune out a little bit. I don't know how to explain it properly, but like it wasn't telegraphed very well. It was very easy to lose who was where.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
I would agree.
And that would be the case, feeling that way in that moment. So that might have been what they were trying to telegraph. But as a viewer, you want to know who's where, what's happening. Otherwise, it's just a lot of people running backwards and forwards, just doing nonsense that they're just lost on until the dust settles and you go, right, well, that's happened then. You know?
I would say, like, I think that scene was very important for just the season as a whole, because I think there has been some scenes to show their like undying like loyalty to him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this was a really good scene to say, like, this is why they respect Reacher so much. This is why they put literally everything on the line for him and his plan, and for this to go off without escape. And I do think, like, especially if you're ever going to go back and rewatch it, it is going to make them why they trust Reacher, why they care for him so much. I think it's going to make that even more like impactful.
Mm-hmm.
But I would agree. I think the fight scene as a whole kind of it was here and there, and you can see where it's coming from. And I would definitely agree with that. Like, I didn't have a problem while watching it, but like now that you say, I was like, yeah, I could definitely see that.
Okay, can I ask, are you expecting a twist next episode in any capacity or no?
I think that I'm really bad with names. Dixon? Dixon, right? I
Dixon
think
the...
she's not on our side. I think she's.
Ooh,
I
that
think.
is a real like wow. That is a swing. Wow.
I think she's working with Shane. I think she's kind of been playing us.
Who's Shane?
Am
Langston.
I not? Maybe that's not her name. That's the villain's name, right?
Robert
Shane.
Patrick.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his name's Shane.
Maybe.
I wrote down the characters' names, and now that I wrote them down, I was like, wait, I don't actually remember the characters' names. I don't know who's who, but I think his name's Shane. Which I will be honest, I do think he's kind of been a little weak this season. Like Robert Patrick is a phenomenal actor, but he's kind of just like at the end of each episode, it's like, you beat me again, Reacher. I guess I'll get you next time. Like that's been him every episode. So I'm excited for him to actually face Reacher. I mean, I guess we had the thing. What was it? Either last episode or the one before where he's like hiding underneath the things and he jumps inside the helicopter, which was insane. I was like, how did you do that?
I will say that if they do get a season 3, that they should not introduce their main villain so early because they've done it twice now, so they should wait.
Sure. Yeah, I mean that's a good point. I guess I haven't been impressed with any of like the villains so far. Like season 1, like the big villain twist was just like, okay, whatever. Like I didn't really care either way. I guess
the way he was stood there at his truck at the start of the season, it was just so obvious. It was like, yes, you're obviously the bad guy working for somebody. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, you're gonna be the one that's killed everyone, and somebody else is gonna be pulling the strings for money, of course.
100%. Yeah.
It's funny that you say you think Dixon is going to be on the turn because I think Swan is coming in for a triple cross.
Okay.
I think he was like basically saying he was working with the bad guys undercover and then called in his guys like I forget half of the team's name. Orozco, I think, and was one of them. And things like that. So, but then, like after the dust settles, I think Swan would have been still working for his own ends because the stuff that they used as a red herring, like where he's sitting there saying, "Oh, we're sitting here working our butts off," and then all of the bad guys are getting 5-10 times our pay for doing nothing but criminal work.
Sure.
I think that was too much, and I think there is a part of him that wants that.
Are you at all worried for the mother and daughter characters? I don't remember their names. They kind of sent them off in the car. I'm a bit worried. There's like, oh, actually, we blew up the car, and we're just like, no, like I'm waiting for that moment. Like kind of like the way they sent them off this like last episode was like, are we like killing them off or something? Like I don't know. It kind of felt weird to me.
No, I kind of feel like they're just out of the picture now.
Okay, they're just gone. Okay.
I mean, I know he doesn't like loose ends and stuff, as like the last guy didn't, but the main loose end is on his doorstep.
Reacher, yeah.
Yeah, and he had two bigger loose ends to deal with in Reacher's team, Dixon and O'Donnell. Sure. So, yeah, no, I just think they're out of the picture myself.
Okay, yeah, I am 100% okay with that. I didn't, I don't dislike them, but I also don't have any kind of attachment to those characters or anything. Noah said it's a little annoying the whole "you don't mess with the special investigators" quote that they won't shut up about. That is true. They do keep saying it over and over again. It's very like CW-esque where like they'll have like a favorite word of the season, and a certain character will just say a certain quote over and over, especially Flash in later seasons. Like they did that a lot. It hasn't bothered me, but I can understand.
It is one step away from being on a t-shirt, though. You know what I mean? On them.
You don't mess with the special investigation. Yeah. He must have said it. Thing is, they taught that kid that phrase, so it was said a lot off screen as well. Like they kept saying it.
Like this, I feel a little bit bad for this criticism because as a whole series, I really, really do enjoy it. And Alan Richardson and everybody else has put like a lot of
Amazing.
work into it. I love the Roscoe shout out this week and everything else. But
Yeah.
as a penultimate episode for a season, I
Mm.
do feel like it was a bit lackluster.
Sure. And I think this is my take. I do think there is a, not that this is a bad season or anything, because I think by TV standard it's still very good. It's going to probably be in my top 20 of like the year overall. It's been very good. But I do think it there isn't that, and this is just me. I don't have that Percy Jackson thing so far where the episode ends and I'm just like, no, I wanted to, like, I don't have that reaction too much. Like there's some stuff obviously I want to see the next one, but I don't have that need to keep coming back. There's a reason.
I had that last season.
Okay, yeah, 100%. Season 1, I 100% had that. I had to keep watching.
This where season, where we are, season 1 right now.
Yes.
Penultimate episode. I stood there and I was like, no, wait.
Yeah.
Like, thank God I got this. Thank God I am catching up on this late, because I would have been sat there just the whole week. It's like, what's going on? I do not feel that this week.
Yeah, I can understand that, and you know, maybe that lends to your whole thing about like it should be a streaming show. It should just drop it all at once. I think like the whole mystery element, like I think mystery shows do work better on the weekly because you can solve it in your head throughout the week and you can throw out your theories. But the way it is like formatted, I can definitely see you wanting just kind of see the whole mystery all at once. It's kind of like an 8-episode binge.
Yeah, because this does, like, as much as this is like a mystery, this is a mystery, but it doesn't feel.
I don't have a passion to solve it either. Like I'm just kind of sitting back and just being like, oh, okay, that's this and this and that. Yeah. And again, that's not an issue for me because that's not the thing that pulls me in.
No.
And again, I don't know what the books are like. I don't know how much they're adapting from the books. I can't say that. Maybe the books are like that the same way, where like you don't. But I don't know. I feel like in a mystery type show like this, I hope in season 3, we get some more like edge of our seat. Like, oh my gosh, I need to see what happens. I need to see how this all kind of goes down. I also think the characters, and this is just, I'm loving the characters this season. I think they're good, but I do think they sometimes blend together. Like, I think a lot of the characters kind of feel the same as like Reacher. The like real rejects, the like thing they were saying, it's just like there's 6 Reachers here, and it's like, yeah, you're kind of right. They all are kind of that same like powerhouse stoic type characters.
Yeah.
Where season 1, every character felt so vibrant, so different, like they all had different like personalities and they bounced off each other so well. Again, not saying they're bad because I have really enjoyed these characters, but not as much as last season for sure.
No, it is a team of mini-me's. You're right. That is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really notice it before, but that is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I've been trying to work it out because in my head, they should have had more Orozco. And is it Sanchez? I forget his name. I don't know. The 2 people, like the other 2 guys that were shot.
Yeah.
And like he had his name on him because of his sister. I would have been much more interested in seeing those 2 guys.
Yeah.
More of them, have way more of them. But what they've done is they've gone for the same like boy girl dynamic that they had in season 1.
100%, yeah. And it kind of happens in the same way too, which is
no, because there's Neely now as well. So yeah. Neely, boy, girl, and Neely. You know what I mean? Like, goddamn, it's literally season 1 and season 2.
And that was kind of the thing for like me, where like I loved their romance last season. I absolutely fell in love with them. They're adorable. And they have the whole thing where like they have to be together and they go to like a like motel because they can't go back to the others, and they hook up, and it's like the same thing happens this season, the exact same way. Like they have to be stuck together, they go to a thing and then they hook up because they can't go home, like the same exact way. And it's
what's
like
really funny is I am the reverse of that. I'm like, season 1 happened way too fast for me, and season 2 makes total sense.
Season 2, it does make a lot more sense because they have history. But I think season 1, I don't think season 1 doesn't make sense because they kind of have all that built up tension together.
It doesn't, like, I just think like what she did felt like wrong place, wrong time.
Mm.
It
Yeah,
just felt
that's
like
fair.
awkward. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and I got like, yeah, I'm just gonna move on because I'm gonna make it a thing. Just gonna move on.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, and again, like this is all like nitpicks. Like I really I think it's genuinely really good. Like it's a really good show. Like this is just me kind of like picking apart something that's genuinely a good show.
I
Daniel
did,
asks. Oh,
I did,
sorry. Go ahead.
like, I really did like the small things, which like him checking the rounds as he was firing, because
Mm.
I went back when I was watching the funeral episode. I went back from the end of the shootout to the start because it felt very American-y, because there they are firing 50 shots from like one clip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it did kind of work out. It's just because of how many of them there were. And then this week as well, like he ran out in an amount of time that would have made sense. And then the way he checked was really cool.
Sure.
I felt, like how I feel like Keanu Reeves has set a standard. You know how much work he put into John Wick, and I feel
Yeah.
like Alan Richardson, sorry, has actually spent time like out there messing about, like
Sure.
practicing, because it felt very natural to see, and was really, really cool.
I will also say, I think, kind of to wrap up this whole thing, the hospital scene with him about the like he's saying he's gonna like blow up his like bladder. That might be the scariest he's been, because it's like, don't do this. Don't. This sounds incredibly painful. I don't want to see this. I think it's like his scariest that we've ever seen him. Like, just
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. Like, yeah,
that's
because
some Batman stuff. That
on the
is some.
yeah, you're right. Full end like of you are a hero, and you're just really edging the line of anti-hero here.
Oh,
Like, do
I
you
think this whole
wanna?
season he has
Yeah,
kind of like, it was like, what, this show has never like really established his moral code, because he'll just kill people. Like he doesn't care. Like he'll just do it. Which isn't an issue. I do wonder kind of where that line is for him, because
Hmm.
he doesn't care if he kills people. He doesn't give a shit. Like
Yeah.
he really doesn't.
This is the thing. So when we finally get to it, one thing I brought up in my stream is on episode 4, right? The intro with Kingpin.
Yes.
I find it very interesting cheering on a bully that's beating up a bully, right? One of the things I love about Reacher is that is a hero championing against bullies, right? And then this episode, he really, like, he's there to get justice, but man, he was on that line of talking about urethra and just the pain he's going to be causing, and then just started sending air pockets up there, and you're just like, oh, there has to be a way to get answers, you know?
For sure.
So yeah, he was really walking that line of baby Kingpin steps. So I don't know. I'm loving it. I can't wait to see next week.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how we'll wrap it all up.
It's really, really interesting, the fact that we've got 2 different people that we're like, I definitely think this person's on the turn. My one has been laid in as a red herring. So this is why I'm saying triple cross, because I'm waiting for like an emotional, oh yeah, no, I love you guys. But then at the end, like, I got some money,
Sure.
anything. The just the literally cutthroat mercilessness of AM. I can't wait to see that against our team. And I would love for him to fight Reacher, but I feel like Reacher's going to be preoccupied elsewhere. So I feel like it's either going to be Dixon, O'Donnell, or Neely. So
Yeah.
one of those are going to have to fight him. That's going to be really interesting too. It'll probably dissolved down into a knife fight.
Yeah.
Which O'Donnell has and got stabbed into Dixon this week. So maybe that's who it is, you know. So that'd be
Sure.
really interesting. So there are like, oh, I can't wait for next week, but
Sure.
yeah, I don't know.
Alrighty, we're gonna be reading these last couple comments before we move on to our final thing today. Noah says, yeah, I agree. The Reacher storyline are very basic and cliche, and the biggest draw is the fight scenes. It's a wannabe alpha male wet dream. You are true. Like I think Reacher is kind of like that.
Oh, it
I've
is,
seen a lot of
especially
those like SJW channels being like, yeah, Reacher's awesome. That's what a real man. You know, I've been seeing a lot of those. But also this season is like also surrounded by like females, which they seem to hate. So I don't know.
well, this is it. It's like when South Park mocks them, like mocks everybody, but then they're like, "Yeah, we won." You know, it's like no, my guy, they hit everyone. Everyone's covered in
It's
dirt.
She-Hulk where like they literally were making fun of them and they're doing the things they're making fun of. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Daniel said, how much does Robert pay Darren for him to be on stream? Well, we can't talk about that number, but pretty penny, I must say.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
And worth it, worth everyone. I love it. Better than therapy.
Kai Rex is here. Kai, hope you're doing well. Defunct says, I said the book series is pretty average / trashy. Oh,
Okay.
Don't let 3Dubs hear that. He might have an outrage. I think he likes the books, or at least the ones he's seen.
That if he hasn't read them though, like he's read some, he hasn't read. He's read
some. To be fair, there seems like there's like 30 of them. So I get it. Alrighty, we're gonna be moving on to what the title says, and that is Echo, Marvel Studios' newest show. Guys, I have a lot to say about this one. I'm very excited to talk about it all week. I've just kind of been like clamoring to talk about Echo. It's been out for about a week now. And I'm very excited. Noah actually brings up a comment that I think will lead us very well into our talk today. That I do want to mention. We talked about it on the pipeline this week. So what's the Defenders news for real? So what's going on with them? What's happening? So if y'all have not seen this week, and I think this news has made me love. I think it made me love Echo more than maybe I would have originally. But all of the Netflix era Marvel shows are officially canon to the MCU thanks to Echo. Disney Plus has officially added them to the timeline, so that's your Daredevil, your Jessica Jones, your Luke Cage, your Iron Fist, all officially canon. It's all officially there. That fight we've been fighting for 8 years now is over. We won. Do you have any thoughts on that at all? Are you happy that they're officially canon?
I'm not gonna lie, I got super autistic when it came to the Daredevil show, and I was just like, no, I'm not gonna watch it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just something about Charlie Cox's chin that I just found really off-putting. Right.
So have you just not seen it?
I just haven't seen it. I've seen Jessica Jones. I've seen all of Luke Cage.
Really?
Yeah. I this is the thing, okay? Seeing him now in the MCU and all of the stuff that he's done in the MCU, I've loved, and I will be going to the Netflix show. But there was something about the man's chin that genuinely just really put me off.
Really?
And I got real autistic about it. I don't know what it is. It was his chin. I can't explain it.
No, it's the chin is God tier.
Nothing against the man. Like, he's a handsome dude. Do you know what I mean? Like,
very handsome dude. Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a New York 8, and then like I'm,
sure,
Texas 3. So, like, the guy's out here doing well, but I just really weird about it. And then I knew it had great fight scenes. I knew Vincent D'Onofrio was amazing. So was there anything in those was it 3 series that would have been conflicting for it to be canon now, or is it slotting nicely?
No, I think it fits in very well. I know some people were arguing She-Hulk did a couple of things that would have been kind of weird, but no, I mean, to be fair, I've only seen all the way through Daredevil. That's the only one of these shows that I've seen from start to finish. I've seen the first season of Jessica Jones. I've seen the Defenders show. I'm pretty blank on all of them, and which is why this year I want to get through all these shows. Like I'm thinking about if it's either a pipeline or if it's a show. I would like to go through these shows for all the way through now that they're officially canon.
I love Jessica Jones. It was a really, really, really strong series, especially David Tennant in the villain role. That was
he was amazing. He was
so
phenomenal.
Good. But Luke Cage, I have to say, and this is without saying Daredevil, of course, but Luke Cage has to be my favorite because that series was just, oh my god.
It's so interesting that you've seen the others but not Daredevil, because that's the one that most people have seen. Like most people like me have seen that one and they didn't watch all the other ones.
Yeah. But dude, honestly, when you get to Luke Cage, you are in for a treat.
I've seen like half of the first season of that as well, which was good. I thought it was really, really good.
Mike Coulter, I think his name. Just a real standout actor, and the fact that obviously now he is tied into the MCU, we're going to be seeing him again. So sweet Christmas or whatever he says. I can't wait. There is a small issue that is raised with Mahershala Ali and Blade.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with that though. I don't think. Like So
you're just a doppelganger in the same reality.
Just say like people look alike. Like I don't think that's a massive issue to me. Just say like everyone has a twin, and these two people just happen to look very similar. And plus, like it's not like Cottonmouth. Spoilers: he's dead in the show, right? So like it's not like Cottonmouth's going to come back and being like born again or something, right? Like I think the character's dead. A lot of your modern audiences didn't watch the show.
Some stuff they have to really spoon feed the audience, right? Sure. And then the fact that they just said, right, well, this stuff from like 6, 7, 8, however many years ago is now canon. Go and watch it for those of you that haven't.
Sure.
Then now they bring out him again.
Blade, yeah.
Some people are
that's fair.
Scratching their noodle going, well, I just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and like this also isn't the first time they've done a thing like that of like this actor pledged 2 characters in the MCU. Like we've seen that. I don't know. Again, it's not like I know there's some people who are having a real issue with that, being like they can't play 2 people.
You're right. Quill's mom's one of them.
Yeah, 100%. Now, to be fair, Blade is also a very big character, and I could definitely see that for people being like, well, he's going to be one of the main MCU characters going forward. Like Blade's a massive like Marvel character, right? Mm-hmm. So I could definitely get that.
And one that everybody has been waiting for, and they need to get their skates moving.
Apparently it goes into filming sometime this year. I'm so mad at what they're doing with some of these. Like Fantastic Four, Blade, Thunderbolts have been announced for a minute, and they're just hanging around, and it makes me very sad.
So long that Mahershala Ali is going to go from Blade to Whistler.
I don't know, but I'm gonna be very curious to talk about this. Someone who you haven't seen the like Daredevil show, and Daredevil was the main reason a lot of people watched the show or was excited for the show. That was a big pitch for some people. This being a big return for Marvel. Just your general thoughts. Well, we can go into spoilers and stuff like that, but like, what was your like general kind of opinion on the show?
I loved it. Loved it. I gotta say, there was like a whole bunch of times I thought it was going in one direction, and then it just ended up going in a complete other direction. How it ended was not how I thought it was going there. When you sit and think about it in retrospect, it's like, oh, that was telegraphed quite nicely. That was shown to be foreshadowed quite well. When you're sat in there, even though she's sitting there thinking, yes, I am doing right by everybody, and I'm going to do this the proper way, I still expected a really violent fight. But I'm not going to lie, I expected her to empower her grandma and her cousin, and then all 3 of them just take on Kingpin, and just swarm him. That's what I expected to happen. We got something completely different, which I'm really, really grateful for. And I did wonder where we were going, because you could argue that for the longest time, especially how her father gaslighted her into saying that we were shunned, we were kicked out, not I. You know,
Yeah.
that for the longest time that she was a hostage that basically just ended up with Stockholm syndrome. So to say that she was a villain in any aspect is could be questionable. You know.
Sure.
So then her choosing to say I want to be Queen Pin now, I thought was a very interesting turn. Um, it made sense, and then for her family to come and step in and say no, that's not who you are, that's not what our family is about, and you are welcome, you know, was tremendous. And the fact that they named each episode after the ancestors,
Was really cool. Yeah.
really really cool.
And then ending it with like her name, I thought was a really nice touch.
Yes, yes. And the fact that her super suit is like a two piece, it comes apart. You know what I mean? Like there's the armory part, and then right, I'm about to kick ass now. Let me just take this off 1 second, and then boom, she's ready to go, and there's like a whole thing underneath. That was so cool.
Sure.
She's awesome. She's
I
awesome.
Maya's been a really fun character to meet up with, and I okay. So my opinion on the show as a whole, I'm gonna say upfront, I had a really good time with the show, and before even jumping into the show, I saw the early like critics things what people were saying. And what I had heard was saying like, hey, some of this stuff is really, really, really good. There's some like great stuff in here. But then they were saying also it also has some of the worst stuff in the MCU in here. I was like,
Whoa.
oh my gosh, really? Like Secret Invasion level stuff, like Ant-Man Quantumania. Like I was saying all these things, and I'm watching through the show, and I'm waiting for that moment. I'm waiting for the moment where the worst stuff in the MCU comes on, and it never happens. I was just like, what's like I would legitimately love to hear what people didn't, and I have issues with it. I don't think it's a perfect show. Actually, there's quite a few things I would talk about when saying when it's, you know, not a perfect show for sure. But I'm waiting. I would love to hear what they think is the worst stuff in the MCU. Like I would love to hear it, because
Yeah.
I didn't get to that. I didn't get to the worst of the MCU.
Yeah. No, it's not even close. And it's like, where's your bar? What? Like,
I mean, just this year alone, we had Secret Invasion, which I
I
thought this was significantly better than your Secret Invasions and a lot of those type of shows.
But with Secret Invasion, was your issue with the Marvel fight at the end?
I thought episode 6 was very sloppy.
Yeah. So did you, because this is a real 50-50 for people, Fury and was his name Marek? I forget his name. Garrett Gravik, thank you. Gravik. Nick Fury and Gravik's chat, although it's Gaia in the thing when he's pretending to be sick. What do you think? Good or bad?
I thought that scene was amazing. I just wish it was Fury.
Yeah. Okay. I thought that was amazing as well. That was a real 50-50.
It was a great scene. It felt like there was no consequences for Fury. I don't want to get into it. I've talked about that so much on here. But
that was a little litmus test for you. Just really interesting.
Sure. I will say though, I think there's clearly stuff missing from the show. It was very clear, and we've known for a while that they went. It was originally said to be 8 episodes. Now it's saying it was originally 6 episodes. Either way, I felt like there's a lot missing from the show. From just there's certain characters that were very important in the first couple episodes, then were just vanished. Like Bonnie, for instance, was such a big character, and she just kind of vanishes, and we don't get much about her personal life or, you know, who she is at her core. There's a lot of stuff, and especially episode 6, I think, are just not there. But like what's there is really, really good. Like what is present, I think really works. And I think, and again, I know you haven't seen all of them or anything. But from what I've seen of the Defender shows, this feels like it was made to be in that world. It feels like they made the show as it was part of like the Netflix era of shows. And you can feel that in tone, you can feel that in style, you can feel that with just these characters. And what I think I love most about like Daredevil, and I assume some of those other shows as well, and I think the MCU as a whole has missed for the most part in these shows is, um, I love they have so much character to them. Each of their own cities, each of their own characters, they have such a personality, and it feels like it's a real world. And I think that's something the MCU has kind of got away from these last couple years. Like New York doesn't feel like New York; it feels just like a random city. And from their cities to their characters to their culture is so loud and beautiful and present. Like you feel it. Like you feel the love they had when putting this like representation into the show.
Yes.
And like it is so like it's so palpable when you're watching it. Again, there feels like there's so much love, and again, that's a lot. Like I think a lot of that stuff is often missing in your Secret Invasion. Like tell me one thing about that city or any of the side characters. It feels like most of these stuff, it feels like, and again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like they plop these characters in a place. There's no, they just plop them there. Why are they there? Who are in these cities? Where are they surrounded? I don't know, but they just plop them there and they tell their stories and then they go home. Where Echo, I feel like once I leave the show, lives are still happening. Things are like businesses are still going on. They're still living their lives. It's a real like palpable place, and I think that's almost the highlight of this show. I don't mean to just keep on going. Did you have any thoughts on that stuff? Just kind of like its
Absolutely.
city and its characters, and it's kind of just it's breath life.
Everything from episode 6 down to just the music and the shots that they would use and everything is just phenomenal. They like you said, they really, really, really cared. And I'm not 100%, but I feel like it was made by a Native American.
Yeah.
Like they were the director, like it was personal. It felt very personal.
It does. It really does.
And I loved that because it made you care more. You know what I mean? It felt like what the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier tried to do for was it New Orleans?
Yeah.
But on a bigger scale because it was the whole series. It wasn't just a little blip at the end. It was a part of the show's DNA.
It really was. It was, and the show has a, I've talked a lot on here on some of these shows. They don't feel like TV shows, and I think with it, with it only having 5 episodes, it does feel like a real world. Like, and this is kind of what I wanted from a lot of these shows is, it doesn't feel like an MCU show, which is your Loki, which is your Falcon, which is like your WandaVision. What I've been wanting more of are just shows that happened to take place in the MCU, and that's what this was. This was just a story that's in the MCU. It's completely on its own. There's nothing kind of tying it to Avengers Secret Wars or Captain America. Like, it is really on its own. And I think, obviously with some stuff from like Hawkeye and some stuff and maybe some Daredevil stuff, clearly, I feel like you could just watch the show as a show on its own without having any kind of prior knowledge to other things. And I think it works very well. I'm going to be kind of curious because I think this might be a show because again, it's not getting a lot of love currently. A lot of people, I'm hearing some people say like the worst like Disney Plus show, and I was like, I don't get it. I don't get how it's the worst Disney Plus show.
It's people that genuinely haven't watched it, honestly, because
100%. Yeah.
If you sit and watch it, that you're instantly drawn in. Like the chemistry and the relationship between young Maya and William, immensely touching, right? And then the young actress is her second cousin, so that's why they look so alike. I mean, there's maybe a resemblance, but then they just whacked it up even more, didn't they? Because they look almost like identical. It's crazy. I will say, I think like as much as I don't want to give like her any credit and stuff, but there might be people listening to what Grace Randolph said, but about her and Kahori being too similar, and there's not even
there's nothing similar to that.
Remotely close. Do you
That's
know what I mean?
insane to me. I can't imagine, like, that's like saying, like, "Do we need both Captain America and Iron Man? They're both white. They're
Yeah,
different characters, you numbskull. Are you
yeah,
insane?" Like,
yeah. Completely different. Um, you had one person, uh, like that was transported to a different place that empowered them. Do you know what I mean? Not, and then you had another person that was a descendant from a certain people. I don't know what this that cave was about. I still need to look into that. But they are descended from that and are able to channel that power through their family.
yeah,
And it's about who they are as a person that gets enhanced. Do you know what I mean? That's it. They're not
yeah,
running out here like the Flash with the blue lights that like Kahori was.
yeah,
That's
very different.
different, you know?
Now,
Uh,
I could see these paths crossing at some point because I could definitely see Echo and her kind of meeting. If it's like a Secret Wars or like whatever, like I could see that being a thing. But very different characters. Thoughts on her, kind of how we did her powers? Because I will say, as cool as her powers are, I really like what they ultimately did with her, especially at the end with Kingpin. I
yeah.
don't think they did an amazing job explaining her powers. Like they
Or
do
who
kind
the
of,
cave people are.
huh?
Or the cave at the start of episode one, Chaffa. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? What was that cave? What was their skin made out of? What was the stuff they were drinking out of? Why did the cave go?
yeah,
Was the woodpecker an omen of just um, danger in general, or the enemy, which it is normally used as a sign for? Enemies are
yeah,
close. So Chaffa seeing the woodpecker, is that the woodpecker saying enemies are close, and then the cave starts coming? So was it an actual enemy that was breaking the cave, or was it just a natural occurrence? We
yeah.
don't know. And then because it's a special spotlight presentation, I don't think a season two is coming.
No. And I mean, I don't know. I'm curious because again, it's very clear they needed more episodes. Like that's my big issue. It's not what's here. It's what wasn't here. It's there's
Mm-hmm.
so many lists like big giant holes in like storylines.
Yeah,
That it's just missing. It's like I really like this. I want more of it. I want more of this product that you gave me. That's what I want. And she kind of just get like we get these teases of her powers throughout the show, and they're slowly getting, and then by the end she's like, all right, I got these powers now, I'm gonna go use them now. And again, very cool. I like what we did with her powers. I think it's very different than any other Marvel superhero we've seen. Just kind of jumping to like the end, like I know we're kind of going all over the place here, but I was very afraid for episode 6. I was like, all right, we've already had Hawkeye, and I personally loved Hawkeye. A lot of people hate Hawkeye. I thought Hawkeye was so much fun. I didn't have an issue with what we did in Kingpin and Hawkeye. I thought maybe it could have been better, but I didn't have an issue with like Kate Bishop blowing him up with like a missile. Like, I didn't have a huge issue with a lot of people, but I was a little nervous. I was like, are we going to defeat him twice in a row? Right? Are
mm,
we going to do that again? I feel like if you keep doing that again and again, he like he does lose a little bit of that like menaceness that
yeah,
that he's known for having.
yeah,
And I think the way they did it here was genius because she did, in a way, beat Kingpin, but it wasn't in the way that we expected. It wasn't in a brawl. She used his disadvantage to her advantage, right? He
yeah,
has always been, and I know you haven't seen it yet, but like in Daredevil, like he is a big baby. That's who Kingpin is. He is a giant crybaby. He is someone who has took all his pain and his suffering and his trauma, and he has boiled it up into a little bottle in his chest and won't let it out. And but like when it does let out, he lets it out, and he used that to his advantage. She's trying to heal him. She's trying to help him. She literally took him to therapy in the
yeah,
final episode. She's just like, "What
yeah.
the hell? What did you do?" And he runs off like a little baby. And I like you couldn't have beat him in a better way. Like I was so impressed. I would have liked a little bit more leading up to that moment. I would have liked because I think that's one of the big things that was missing was obviously I think the show's at its best when it is Maya and Kingpin. Like that stuff though, that they're back and forth. Amazing, but I
Yeah.
think we needed more for when they were young. Like I feel like there is a disconnect to kind of their family heritage, where they come from. Why does she care so much about him? Why does he care so much about her? We don't really see that outside of that scene where she beats up the ice cream man. But why does he beat up the ice cream man? Like, why does he care that much? Like, I wanted to see that. We never did get it. So again, like I just like one. I think because what we had 5 episodes, again, very good. I think 8 episodes would have been perfect, man.
Yeah.
Like I think a couple just more, just set up lore, set up things, bring in more character. I don't know. I'm talking way too much about this, I feel, but like I don't know. I just wanted more. I wanted more of that kind of stuff.
I fully agree. And they did have a wonderful chemistry. I like what you said about Vincent D'Onofrio's portrayal of Kingpin and how he expresses his pain and violence. Because you really do see that in episode 4 when he's throwing his punches, like the torment on his face. And I said on my stream that I do think that now that he has been healed, he's going to be a much more interesting villain because he is not motivated in such a way. So everything doesn't come from like the pain of like victim turned killer. And now I'm just using all of the adrenaline of life and I'm just running on that. That's all gone. That's all been taken away. And then now it's just the machinations of an evil man. Do you know what I mean?
You think that he like is healed?
100%.
Okay, interesting. I guess I kind of took it more as she brought all this stuff to like the like surface, and now he's having to like confront these issues, but he's maybe not healed from them yet, right? Like just like a therapist, like you could bring it out, but if you don't deal with those griefs, don't deal with those, because I don't think he's going to deal with any of this stuff once he's away from her, right?
I think in the headspace he gave her the patricidal hammer.
Sure.
Right. So that's him letting go. That's like a whole part of the power set, in my opinion.
Sure.
So, like in my head, that's all gone. Like that's all gone. And the fact that you're carrying around that damn hammer in the first place, I don't know what's going on with that. That's nonsense. But cool.
I mean, if you've seen the show, like those scenes hit so hard, you know, pun intended a little bit, but like, I mean, just getting to see, because you know, like that show, we literally see what happened. Like they don't cut away. We literally see it. So to see that, like he still has it, he's giving to him. That whole scene where he hands it to her and is like, "Do what you will with this," and it's like, "Oh my gosh, like, this is crazy." Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
he's a powerful guy. Do you know what I mean? Like he is a big guy, but that's not fat. That's all muscle. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when he's gonna take on the hero, it's gonna be believable. You know, I just can't wait. I can't wait. And like I said, he's healed, but that's not to everybody's advantage. That's to his advantage. He's now got. So he's going to be able to let that go, in my opinion.
Sure.
And like I said, now he's just going to be moving forward in a whole different way. And spoiler alert, he's going to be mayor. So that's going to be awesome.
Yes. We are definitely going to have to talk about this. I do want to go through some of these comments really quickly. Just I don't want to let anyone hanging. Noah said there isn't much that would outright conflict at all that Disney has done a good job at keeping their era Netflix shows and the respective characters. I will agree with that. Like I don't think there's anything in those shows that like outright contradict anything. The only thing I had for years was like maybe they wouldn't want them canon. It's just if you wanted like a new Daredevil or a new Luke Cage or whatever. And clearly now they do not. Like they want, especially when it comes to like the Matt Murdock stuff, they want to keep him in. People love him. I'm curious who else we kind of bring in throughout the way. Defunct said, love the old Netflix Marvel series Iron Fist. I just never finished but enjoyed the rest. Yeah, a lot of people like Iron Fist or don't love Iron Fist. I haven't seen it. Thunderbolts is going to be absolutely insane. I hope so. I'm starting to lose a little interest because it has been so long since they announced it, but I want to hope it's good.
There's a whole to-do over Sentry, isn't there? Because or Sentinel Sentry, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
It was going to be Stephen Young.
And now he's out. Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's going to be somebody else. So yeah. Can we talk? You're talking about the wonderful scenes between Maya and Fisk.
Amazing. Absolutely.
And out was the dinner scene as well for me.
Oh my gosh. I think episode 4 was insanity. Like, and like every 5 minutes there was like a really good, just like, I'm a big character guy. I've always been a big character guy. I will always prefer great character moments over like it's character over story for me. Like I always love just good character moments. And like you went from like a good thing with Maya and Kingpin, and then you have a really good scene with Henry and Maya, and then you have Maya and the like grandma, like back to back to back, and I was like, this is so good. And how they just like the like scene work, and that was the thing I was really most excited for the show, was when you have someone who can't hear, how do you represent that on screen? And the fact that they can have these really really good performances between characters when one of your actors can't speak, it just, I think, is a testament to how well you're making the show, and how good of a job they're doing. Like each one I'm like almost crying. It's like, this is so unbelievably good. And again, the actress who plays Maya, amazing, absolutely phenomenal. Like I and again, we had talked about this, but like, the actress really is deaf, so they gave a job to someone who's deaf, and now she's going to be like a household name, hopefully. Which I think is absolutely incredible as well.
Yeah. She is also an amputee as well. So she is the first. She is the first disabled lead, from my understanding. The first Native American lead. The first Native American female lead as well.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of boxes she's ticking with this special spotlight presentation.
Yeah.
And she should be very, very proud.
100%. And that's such a sore point for people, where I've seen people be like, well, we've already had a blind superhero. Do we really need a deaf superhero? I was like, that's not how that works. They're not the same thing. You can't have one disability be this thing for all of them. Like, and again, that was the reason I was so excited for the show, because there has never been something like this, like, ever. There's never been like a deaf superhero like this. There's never been a thing. And I was so curious to see how they did it, and I think they did it in a very good way, just like how they did all like their fight scenes with someone who's deaf, and how like the like sound design was absolutely terrific. There's scenes where there's just no sound, but it's so like palpable with how they're like directing it. I thought that was really really good.
I gotta say, back to the dinner scene quickly as well.
Mm-hmm.
But
go ahead.
But on your point, is that the like one quickly, not off on your point, but the vulnerability of Fisk when he walked up to her was just insane, and such a good choice. Like that they chose that instead of strength. Just vulnerable side, bang, beautiful. But back to your point with the dinner scene, I didn't even think about it, right? Because the second he gave her the contact, right, I thought, oh my god, right, he's taking her right out. But no, boom, contact him. And I thought that's so sweet, right? But then she raised a good point of this. You only have done this because you didn't bother to learn sign language. Like, I was like, oh wow, that is such a good point. Like, goddamn.
100%. Like he would rather pay. I mean, that's what he's done his whole life. He pays for his problems, right? He pays for him. He pays millions of dollars to invent this new technology instead of spending an hour a week learning sign language. Like it's
ending lives. Those poor interpreters.
Yeah. They you can go and like they walk on the like carpet thing, the sheet, and then they
walk on plastic. Who walks on plastic anymore? Nobody.
They walk on plastic.
Honestly, at that point, it's gone from murder to euthanasia, because the second you walk on plastic, you know what's coming. So that's just assisted suicide. That's just crazy.
That was so. Oh man, that was so crazy. Alrighty, let's read through some.
I gotta say, sorry, I love as well that the whole show was pre, during, and post blip. We got a bunch of Hawkeye scenes. We got a bunch of extra stuff thrown in. That was really cool. One of those things threw me for a loop and chucked me back to Hawkeye. But I was like, nope, that's added. That's extra.
Yeah.
Again, I said it earlier, but William and Maya, just so good, so good. Very, very touching, honestly. And then this was the people of the Choctaw Nation, and Kahori is a part of the Mohawk
Yes.
uh, nation or tribe or people or tribe. I'm not sure on the right way to say it, if I'm honest with you. Um, I just love episode 5 for the display of their culture. It was
Yeah,
wonderful.
it's very
It was
good.
wonderful. And it's a series that I very much will be going back to. Um, just because the story is really good, but mainly for the characters because of how well that they were done. Chula and Scully, their chemistry was great.
Side
And
characters. I was really impressed by them. I
yeah,
was like, and again, like that's not. I kind of mentioned it at the start. Like, we don't get a lot of like side characters in these shows. It's like these are the characters from the MCU. They're in a show now. Deal with it. But like we got to meet all of Maya's family, and I
yeah,
would almost argue they're sometimes more interesting than Maya herself. Like I really, really enjoyed her family, and I hope we get to see her again. Scully melted my heart. Bonnie, I was a bit like she didn't do much, so I kind of felt bad for her. But Biscuits, man, bring Biscuits back.
MVP biscuit. Oh my gosh.
He's so
Honestly, I was so confused at the start, like when they're saying like, "Oh, Biscuits is gonna be upset that he couldn't be here." Biscuits, who's that guy? Who's that?
Is it like a dog? Like
Yeah, and then he rocks up and just
instantly, like you love him instantly. I was like, yeah, this guy's my homie now. I love him.
he's in the war to steal the show. But
100%. He's good.
yeah,
And then just like Scully and Chala, I think is her name. Like
Chula.
they're like we've been, split for a while, but he's kind of trying to back in and be like, hey, you wanna do, like he's so much fun. He's so charming. Like as an actor, you just love him instantly as well.
Yeah.
So he's
I do love how much respect they put on Chula because honestly, much in the same way of Ares in Percy Jackson, like he's just a normal dude, but then in the Ton of Love, he's like some big hulked out guy that's like a big cartoony guy. Chula is a wonderful tiny woman, but the respect that they put on her, she is the size of a mountain. It's like, oh my god, I will not cross that lady. Do you know what I mean? Like she's going to be coming in like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something.
yeah.
Everybody's scared of her. No one's going to cross her, and everybody respects her, and I love that.
And she's very powerful. Like she's like a very powerful like MC. She could probably take out like an Avenger if she wanted to with her powers.
Yeah. Hawkeye at least. Hawkeye at least.
Take out some like low level ones for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ready? We're gonna get through some of these comments. I don't want to leave people waiting. Defunct said, I binged it in one sitting with someone unfamiliar with most Marvel stuff. We both very much enjoyed the series. I love hearing that kind of stuff, man. I think when you can have a show that maybe like, someone who hasn't seen all 755 MCU projects can jump into a thing, which we don't see a lot nowadays. Like nowadays, it is almost like you have to have seen all the movies and all the shows to understand what's happening. So I think that's really good. And again, I think they did a good job of just kind of being able to introduce you in. Noah said, although Maya is a pretty cool character, I'm grateful we got to explore, but say outright she isn't a villain is too black and white. Yeah, I think it is kind of weird because like they had said that she they had said, oh, she's a villain, like she is a villain in the show, and I was like, I think she does kind of lean on this anti-hero kind of side a bit. I'm curious where we go with her because I don't know if I would say Born Again, we could see her again, like have her pop in some aspects. I don't know where, what she would play, but like with like Wilson Fisk like running from air, I assume that's something she might want to like intervene on. Maybe we finally get to see her and Matt like officially meet and again see how that works out, because like a lot of the thing going into it is like, wait, how is Matt and Maya going to talk to each other? And it's like, well, they didn't. that's how. So
because she didn't do anything villainous in this whole season.
It's like she tried. like she tried to run, like to do all this stuff, but she never gets the chance to almost.
She killed
Like,
that guy at the start. But
yeah, like she like tries to take over like Kingpin's thing, and then they kind of feels like they kind of drop that like halfway through.
yeah, because that train thing,
Yeah, that's the worst for her.
bomb, that's not villainous because her ancestors wouldn't have helped out for something that was villainous. Yes, people lost their lives, but there has to have been some kind of like altruistic net positive, because I don't know, because I don't think that they would have helped out for something that was inherently evil.
Yeah, that feels like another thing that could have used more time to breathe. Like I really really like the concept of her trying to become the like Queen Pin. Like that was I was like, oh, okay, this is a really cool presence for like a show. Like something very different from like an MCU show that we've ever seen was like this mafia kind of like, set up for like an MCU show. That's fun. We don't really do much with it. Like I think they do focus a lot more on like the magic stuff, which is fine. But I do think I was a little bit more invested in the I don't know, I guess like the grounded level stuff. And again, like I would have loved to have seen like what the show would have been with like a like Netflix like 13 episode run. Like what does this look like with a 10, 13 episode type thing? Would have been very interesting. Noah says, I do think the Echo and Daredevil fight scene would have been a Slayer setup. Okay, I do want to just talk about that fight scene. Amazing, phenomenal. I know you haven't seen the show, but that was pulled right out of Daredevil. It's such a like they don't take a lot of cuts. It's a phenomenal scene. Just that scene alone makes me happy this show exists. Like there's been all the people's like, can Echo like cancel the show? Just for that alone, it's worth it in my opinion. Like oh my god,
choreography, and I love the way he just hopped through the
yeah. It was so good.
Just seamless. It was so cool.
I also really loved the like POV of the villains, like POV of like Daredevil showing up, because like you're following Matt as he's going through to attack the villains. Now you get to see the other side of it, of just like, oh, this is what they're thinking, and this is the fear, and he is like the like devil of like Hell's Kitchen. Like he is a devil. He is scary. You are scared of this man. He's going to fuck you up. So I thought that was really, really cool as well.
I'm glad that they said he's been there all night, because otherwise you would have just assumed he chanced upon the place. He's being extra butthurt that there's like, I spent all night watching you lot and all these lot, and then now you come and like, no.
And there's also some people have pointed out that scene takes place during the late blip, which means that he was officially not blipped, which is something we assumed, but we now officially know, which is nice to hear. But it's also, I think it's also just a really, and I really hope that Born Again takes that time in that time era. Like I really want to see him there, especially with a world without heroes, like a world without a lot of these big heroes. Like I would love to see like if he has to pick up the slack a little bit. Like crime would have probably went up, like Ronin stepped up, and they would have probably met and faced off.
Kingpin genuinely thrived during that whole blip.
Oh, 100%. Like my original pitch, and I think people thought I was crazy for this pitch. My original pitch wasn't even that far off from like what they were originally doing. Like I liked the idea of Foggy and Karen getting blipped and Matt leaving, and like Kingpin rising back up to power, and Matt kind of going back to his darker ways a bit. And I think that would have been like a genuinely interesting story, which is why you had 18 episodes. So you could have spent the first like 9 episodes with them gone, and then like you're like mid-season the point they come back, and it's like, oh, like now I have to adjust to everyone being back. And I love the idea, like a lot of people have said, like when he comes back, you like you hear all of the, like he hears everyone getting dusted, like that aspect is really, and like you hear all like your heartbeats coming back or something. Like that's a really cool idea too. So I think there's a lot to explore there if they want to, if they have the time to. So I'll be curious.
How much time would you spend like doing that though?
I would spend like 9 episodes like during the pre-blip. Like
really?
If it's a full show, if Daredevil was back for multiple seasons, yeah.
Wow.
If it's like a one-off season, no, probably not. But like the fact that we have a showrunner now, we're getting like they have said they're focusing on multiple season like storytelling. I'd love a whole arc, like a whole. And I hope we get more of that, like pods, like do like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. style, like, hey, this is the story for this pod of episodes, this season we have this arc, next season we have a different arc. So I don't know.
Really think there's that much story to be said? I mean, it's kind of like a light apocalypse. Do you know what I mean? In that society is still there, but just
I mean, you could do like your like Bullseye storyline if like you really wanted to, right? Like you could bring him back. They like set him up in season 3 to be the villain for season 4. So maybe you could do that there. I've always thought that like those like there really hasn't ever been a storyline like within those 5 years of everyone being gone, and I would like to fill in the gap a little bit, but we are kind of at a point where like it's so far like gone. It's been 5 years since that's happened. Like we're back to present day already. Like, is it too late for a storyline? Maybe, possibly.
Oh my god! Something I found out yesterday, well, reminded myself of yesterday, is that Thor Ragnarok came out in 2017. That's how long ago that was now, right? I thought it was later than that because it still feels
8 years.
Super recent. And Eternals came out in like 2021.
Yeah,
it was so only 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, and then nearly. And yeah, I made a mistake in my quiz that I've got to tell everyone about.
Defunct says, I'm so glad that we have more disabled actors portraying disabled characters these days. Disabilities representation's gone. So yeah, I would 100% agree with that. I hope we get more of it. Screw all the people who say, what do we need? It's important, y'all. Noah says, I want a MCU project where Biscuits and Lewis from Ant-Man are just drinking buddies at a bar. That'd be fun. Like special presentation, just all the cute sidekick characters hanging out.
Wong and support group for sidekicks.
Yeah, like Wong. You throw like Wong in there. You can throw.
Oh my god, Spider-Man. I need a Madison and Wong show. Okay,
throw Madison in there.
I need a Madison and Wong show where it's just those two on night out. Just different nights out, like in different dimensions, different countries.
Be fun.
I need that.
And yeah, let's kind of talk about the ending as well. Just kind of Fisk becoming mayor. Clearly a setup for Born Again, which we had heard from the we kind of, let's be honest, for like those who end up seeing these leaks and stuff like that, we've kind of known about like the Kingpin for mayor stuff for a while. Even if we didn't know, we've kind of been theorizing maybe that's where we're going. We've heard he's going to like be mayor and he's going to be outlawing your Daredevil, your Spider-Man, your Echo, your Hawkeyes. That's kind of be, and he's kind of like the king of the like street level heroes. Were you shocked by this ending at all, or was this kind of like what you were expecting?
No, this is something that got ruined for me kind of early.
Yeah.
So I knew. I do kind of. I'm excited for it because I feel that I think Daredevil's coming before Spider-Man 4, and I think Spider-Man 4 might have Kingpin as the villain.
Yeah, it seems like
I love that.
We've heard for a while that like Echo, Daredevil, and Spider-Man 4 is kind of like this like almost trilogy of storytelling, which I love. Like I'll be honest, I'm more excited for, and like maybe even more than that, because I think like Thunderbolts and Captain America 4 also kind of might fold into that. Maybe not directly, but I think as far as like a storytelling, this like kind of street level stuff, I'm more excited for like Daredevil, Spider-Man 4, Thunderbolts, Captain America 4 than I am for all your like multiverse stuff. Like way more than your King Dynasties and your kind of your Deadpool 3 as well. I mean, not fully because of Hugh Jackman, but
whoa, easy now.
Maybe not Deadpool 3. Okay, Hugh Jackman's a big sell for me.
I gotta say, I'm really, really looking forward to Venom 3 as well.
Really? Okay.
That is a hot take because everybody does not really like it. Hit and miss with the first two. I really love the first two.
Sure.
And I cannot wait to see where the third one goes. Yeah, just really good stuff.
I would love it if it was great. Like I would love it if they're like, hey, we made two kind of mid movies and it came out and it's like, this is like Winter Soldier level. Like I would love it if it just blew people away.
Yeah,
I think that'd be really, really fun. But do you have any kind of final thoughts on Echo? Obviously we'll probably talk about it when Daredevil comes out, and I hope we get back to Echo at some point, because again, I loved this world. I would love a season 2 with the with the showrunner this time, and a pilot, like an official pilot, and I would love it. And I think the show's very cheap. Like I doubt this is like an expensive TV shows. Like I know it came out during COVID, so that probably hyped up the price, and I know they had some reshoots, but under normal circumstances, this could be like a CW budget type of show. Like you don't have to have a massive budget for a show like this.
No.
So, hopefully.
So I will say, phenomenal series that did a lot with, like when it was a very contained series.
Yes.
That did a lot. It was like the TARDIS. It was bigger on the inside, and it was amazing.
Sure. Yeah, I agree.
It had one of the ancestors breaking gender norms. Like, that's not really talked about. I love that. That was slipped in there.
Yeah, 100%.
And like all of the people's outrages elsewhere, which is awesome, where it should be. I just loved it, honestly. Like you said, there was some stuff that was missing, like where the people from, like how have powers work. Do you know what I mean? We just saw them working. There was no like explanation of anything. It just accept that you are a part of your family. And more Bonnie wouldn't have gone amiss. But the family members that we did see a lot of, Biscuits, Chula,
really, really
Henry,
good. Yeah.
William, love that dude. Honestly,
it's so good.
Such good character. Yeah.
I 100% agree with you. Like, I loved the like stakes of it all, because 90% of the MCU, and we've talked about this, and this is a big thing for me, where like not every MCU project needs to be like end of the world stakes. There really weren't very high. There weren't world ending stakes, right? Like end of the day, worst case, 5 people die, and that's all would have happened if like Fisk won, right? Like their family died. That's it. No one knows about any of this happening. There's not like word of the end stakes, and yet I feel that fear in episode 5. I feel her pain. I feel like, no, don't kill these characters. I love these characters, and it like they are really personal stakes. Again, not everything has to, and some works like that. Like I think Loki worked like that very, very well. Well, we literally killed billions upon billions of people in Loki, and you feel that. I think that's totally okay. But with a show like Echo, you don't need that, and I think that's really cool. And just kind of wrap it all up. Like I think this is a good start. Like this is that, like they had, we're saying like this being our first like spotlight, right? The first one of this kind of new era of TV, and obviously it was made during the old era of TV. But I do genuinely think that this is a step in the right direction. This is a step to what I want to see more of, these more personal storytellings. The more, again, it's a little bit darker than what some of these other ones have been. I hope we can get even darker, because I do think it's more PG-13 than it is like MA. Like you have like 2 scenes that was like, okay, maybe that's like MA, and the rest is kind of like PG-13ish. But no, I had a really good time with this, and I hope we get to see these characters.
I have to clarify, it's the 3rd special spotlight presentation, but the 3rd first special spotlight presentation that is a series. The first was Werewolf by Night. The second was Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
Well, that wasn't your like spotlight, right? That was just your special presentation. They're 2 different things.
Really?
Yep.
I thought they were a spotlight as well.
Nope. This was the first one, and then I assume Daredevil will be under that umbrella.
See, I wonder, because I don't think this is going to get a season 2, and I think Daredevil might. So I wonder if it.
Which, I think is ultimately okay. Like, I think I would be shocked if Echo isn't in Born Again. Like, I'd be very shocked if she's not at least mentioned or included. Kingpin will at least mention him or something. Like, I think she'll be in here somewhere.
It depends where it takes place, doesn't it?
Yeah. That is also very true. Yeah.
If and as is his suit as well.
Mm-hmm. Or I've also thought about like Defenders season 2, if we did like a Defenders season 2, I could see her like in that lineup with like your like Luke Cage and stuff like that. If we, if we are bringing back all these characters, you bring her in, I think that'd be really, really cool.
Especially as the team healer.
Sure.
That'd be should be great and very useful.
I would agree. But with that being said, you guys, we are heading towards the end of the stream here. I want to thank everyone who did pop in today. We had a lot of fun people here today. If you guys are new to the channel, of course, subscribe. We're trying to grow this year. We're trying to do some new things, and I'm very excited for all of that. Big shout out to Defunct, to Noah, to Kai, to Daniel. We had a lot of fun people here today, and a big shout out.
Well,
what's that?
I think Liam stopped in briefly.
Liam,
as well.
Yes, Liam was here. DH1 was here. Liam was here. Thank you to everyone again. Very fun. We should be back next week to talk about the finale of Reacher and episode 6 of Percy Jackson.
Wow.
I think we're kind of ending, like we're heading into an era where it's like some of these shows are starting to end again. I'm not sure what we're gonna do after that. But time will tell. There's a lot of good shows coming out this year, and I'm excited to hop on to some of these. But without further ado, you guys, thank you so much. I will see you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye.